Hi, I'm Joe Dinoffer. Two things are clear about movement sports and kids. First, that good agility and quickness skills are among the primary ingredients for success. And second, that it is our responsibility as coaches and parents to help the children succeed. Why? Because without some degree of success, they will lose self-esteem and not continue. Since we all know the health risks for children who stop running and playing, the well-being and self-esteem of millions of children who play sports each year depend on us. To maximize the benefits of agility exercises, always plan the duration of each drill. For example, if you have an average 8-year-old run an intense footwork pattern for 60 seconds, failure is certain. Instead, start with 15-second increments and progress from there. Also be sure to allow 2 to 3 times the duration of the drill for recovery, depending on each athlete's age and fitness. A simple way to determine a child's capacity and recovery needs is to perform the same exercise 3 times. If the performance breaks down on the 3rd repetition, allow more recovery time and build up from there. Also remember to start the drills slowly and speed up as the children develop their skills. How long should each agility and movement training session last? Depending on the age and fitness level of the children, start with 10 to 15 minutes, including the rest breaks we just advised. I personally like the concept of quality over quantity in developing fitness. Keep the sessions focused and fun, and you can accomplish a great deal in a very short period of time. This DVD is packed with creative exercises to help put more fun back into fitness. We will use several common training aids, lines, spots, and cones. And although we are filming with 2 young girls, the drills are equally effective for boys as well. We have a lot of ground to cover, so let's get moving. There are lines everywhere. In this section, we will use non-slip rubber roll-down lines, but you can also use the existing lines on tennis courts or gymnasiums. Just remember to encourage the athlete to touch the ground lightly and quickly, as opposed to heavy, loud, or slow. Before demonstrating some more creative exercises, remember that the basics are also important to practice. First, try 1-foot hops from side to side, and then also forwards along the line. Then try the same 1-foot hop, but moving sideways. The next idea is the same with double foot hops. First forwards, and then also sideways, as is now being demonstrated. A slightly more complicated pattern is to move sideways along the length of the line with 2 steps across the line and 2 steps back. Finally, let's share the pattern of stepping across the line with every 4th step with the same foot. This practices dominance with 1 foot. In fact, if you want to see which foot is dominant in a young athlete, have them perform this pattern and see which foot they use to cross the line. Just remember that it's also important to balance out this dominance. So, perform the same exercise, emphasizing dominance with the opposite leg. Both of these drills are done while moving along the line sideways. Skipping has long been a popular movement pattern for children. Here we take basic skipping a step further. First, try skipping 2 times across the line and 2 times back. Then, for more explosive movement, try the same exercise with high knee skipping. Another skipping variation is to cover more distance with each skip. Here, our athlete is skipping the full length of the line as fast as possible, switching sides halfway through. Triplets consist of a large variety of movement patterns, helping both footwork and rhythm. First, try running forwards, alternating 3 steps on each side of the line. Another variation is performed sideways and requires 2 steps on one side of the line and 1 step on the other. Another variation is to hop with both feet twice on one side and once again on the other. Skipping can also be converted into a triplet pattern. First, 3 times on each side of the line while moving forwards. Then try a much more difficult skill builder. Here, our young athlete is skipping across the line every 3rd skip while moving along the line sideways. Good job. In this series of exercises, a whistle creates agility challenges. The first variation has a junior running on one side of the line, and when the coach blows a whistle, the junior simply changes to running on the other side. Try it with side shuffles as well. And you can also perform the same shuffle drill with 180-degree turns and switching sides of the line at the same time. Finally, have 2 children start at opposite ends of the line and run in a circle to try to tag each other. They are not allowed to reach over the line to tag, and when the whistle blows, they have to change directions. This is a great exercise for acceleration and deceleration running, as well as to help with direction changes. This group of exercises requires 2 athletes. Start them at opposite sides of the line, simply running in one direction and then turning to run in the other. One initiates direction changes and the other follows, just like a mirror. A simple variation is to have them face one another and perform the same exercise but with a simple shuffle. Then you can challenge them even more with sideways skipping. And finally, forwards and backwards running can be tried out as well. In this series of ideas, 2 young athletes run side by side on opposite sides of the line. The first variation is for one to start on all 4s and the other to begin standing up. A step further is for one runner to start sitting down and then catch up with the other. Even more challenging is for one to start in a push-up position. The handicapped runner will have to really work on quick acceleration to catch up with the other partner. Team relays with small or larger groups are popular exercises, and using lines as guides only add to the fun. Any of the basic patterns we demonstrated at the start of this section can be converted to relays. Just one example is side-to-side double foot hops. Other options can be the more complex movement patterns such as skipping, as are now being shown. Just have each athlete move through the pattern and then tag the teammate. We are demonstrating with just one team, but imagine several teams performing the same exercise side by side. Well done. Most coaches have spots or dot mats, but you can also use chalk if you're on a playground or a driveway. We will be using our dot and spot movement mat for the games and drills in this section. Remember that you can try these exercises on tennis courts, playgrounds, gymnasiums, or any other level surface. Before demonstrating several creative exercise ideas, let's cover some of the basics. First, try the standard hopscotch pattern, seeing how many times you can go from end to end in 30 seconds. Then try 1-foot hops around the 5 dots. Alternate feet after each completion of the 5 dots. Then try the same drill with double foot hops as well. This category of 1, 2, 3 patterns help footwork as well as rhythm skills. First, just move forwards in and out of 1 dot as our young athlete is demonstrating. 1 step in and 2 steps out. Then try running in a circle around 4 dots. In with 1 foot and out with 2 feet in a clockwise direction. Another more complex variation is to skip in triplets. 1 skip in the dot and 2 skips outside. Finally, try skipping in and out, but in a clockwise direction. This one is a lot tougher than it looks. This next series uses a whistle to create agility and footwork challenges. The first variation has a junior running the dots in a hopscotch pattern forwards and then backwards across 2 sets of dots and spots. When the coach blows a whistle, the junior simply changes from forwards to backwards or from backwards to forwards. And you can also try a 2-foot hop in and out of each dot in a circle around the dots. Then when the whistle is blown, the athlete just changes direction. This concept of drills features two athletes facing one another on a set of dots. Each exercise is timed for 10 seconds or another desired length, depending on the fitness level of the athletes. The first exercise is a simple in with 1 foot and out with 2 exercise. The next one is a 1 foot in and 1 foot out pattern. Have the children keep count of how many times they step in the dot during the allotted time. Yet a third option of many possibilities is to have them do a 1 foot in and 2 feet out pattern with skipping. Well done. This group of exercises requires 2 athletes. One initiates the skill and the other follows, like a copycat. Since everyone will like to be the leader, just make sure to change roles after each exercise. First comes the hopscotch pattern. Then they challenge each other by skipping. The interesting part of this concept is to let the children have the freedom to use their own creativity without interference. Just have them alternate being the leader and then the copycat. The concept of run-outs and run-ins is to vary the dynamics of movement and agility, as so many sports require. Set up a line that doubles as a starting line and a finish line. Then have the athlete do a run-out, as is now being demonstrated. It's just a simple hopscotch through the dots and a sprint to the finish. The opposite is a run-in. This time, have the juniors start at one line and then sprint to the other one, finishing with the hopscotch pattern through the dots. Individual races are also possible with the run-outs or run-ins just demonstrated. First, try a one-on-one race that consists of a round-trip agility drill and sprint, like our kids are now demonstrating. Then, as a relay, have the young athletes tag a teammate. Relays definitely add more fun and camaraderie to any exercise. The movement variations for races and relays are practically unlimited. We are demonstrating with just one team, but again, imagine several teams performing the same exercise side by side. In this third section, we will use our flex cones for safety reasons, since they collapse easily when stepped upon. And the open sides make them more stable outside on windy days. As in the other sections, just use a level surface, like a gym floor, tennis court, playground, or home driveway. Before demonstrating several creative exercise ideas, let's cover some of the basics. The first is to place 2 cones about 10 feet apart and run from cone to cone with a full circle move around each of the cones before returning to the other. Try this same drill with shuffles between the cones, or to increase the challenge with skipping between cones, try moving forwards and backwards with that skipping pattern. With 4 cones, try a box exercise with the same small circles around each cone. The varieties are practically endless. If you have a set of cones with multiple colors like the ones we're using, it's a perfect opportunity to increase focus and rapid problem solving while working on agility and quickness. Just spread the cones in a circle around the central pivot cone. The coach or partner then calls out a color, and the athlete touches the designated cone before returning and touching the home base. This next series uses a whistle to add variety to some of the basics we just demonstrated. The first variation has a junior running circles around 3 cones that are placed in a triangle. Just have the athlete face in one direction, run a circle around each cone, and then either run forwards between cones or shuffle sideways. When the whistle is blown, they change the direction they are running in their small circles and also the direction they are running from cone to cone. You can also try a more simple shuffle around the 3 cones without the mini circles. When the whistle is blown, the junior simply changes directions with the shuffle, or something more challenging like a sideways skipping pattern. And to keep the young athletes extra focused, have them perform any of these exercises side to side with another athlete. There is no competition at this stage. but having someone run next to you will definitely increase focus. Plyometrics are exercises that use explosive movements designed to help athletes develop their ability to generate a large amount of muscular force in short bursts. Power in movement is how fast strength is converted into speed. One option is to use cones as hurdles. First, laterally back and forth over one cone with 2 feet together. Then sideways over 2 cones, first changing directions by pushing off with 2 feet on either side. Then try the same exercise but push off with only 1 foot to go the other way. In this group of exercises, we will combine plyometric jumps with sprinting. Just set up a starting point and a finish line. About 1 foot in front of the starting point, place a cone. On command, the athlete hops with both feet over the cone and then sprints to the finish line. Next, place 3 cones a few feet apart. This exercise combines stride length with explosive sprinting. This drill idea uses 2 cones and 1 tennis ball per team. Set up a starting point about 5 feet from the first cone. Place the ball under the far cone. The drill starts with one team member sprinting from one side to the other in order to bring the ball back to the first cone before tagging their partner. The next runner grabs that ball and sprints to place it under the far cone again. The rules are that the cones cannot be moved, and if one falls, it must be replaced immediately. A race with multiple runs per player is especially effective to produce a short, intensive sprint and then a brief recovery period right after. In this example, the athletes alternate and each team runs the course 3 times. Another relay idea is to set up 1 cone as a turnaround point, and on the other end set up 3 cones to hop over in succession. With a little imagination, hundreds of relay variations are possible. Again, please note that we are demonstrating with just one team, but imagine several teams performing the same exercises side by side. That would be very exciting. In this final section, we will use combinations of various tools to share even more ways to add fun and variety to training sessions. And again, like in the other sections, just use a level surface, like a gym floor, tennis court, playground, or home driveway. Let's start this section with an agility course that is guaranteed to help young athletes develop the agility and quickness required for any movement-based sport, whether it be basketball, soccer, tennis, football, baseball, or any of a dozen other options. Here we see a young athlete moving through and around cones, spots, lines, and ladders. Just establish a starting point and a finish line, then use a whistle and a timer and watch the fun begin. Using ladders and cones together as relay race tools, combine the linear skill building of footwork ladders with the circular agility required for quick stepping around cones. Here we have created a simple relay race course by setting up a starting point marked with cones, a footwork ladder to run through, and then several cones to zigzag through before turning around to tag a teammate. Options are unlimited, with variations including cone placement and the type of footwork pattern used to move through the ladder. Just imagine several teams performing the same exercise side by side for a high-energy group workout. Great job. Here's another idea that uses spots and lines, another pair of common tools. Here we see our young athletes paired up as a team. From a designated starting point, each child runs through the lines in one of the footwork patterns, such as triplets, that was demonstrated earlier in this DVD. Then they move through the spots in a hopscotch pattern, turn around at the end, and then run back the same way they came to tag their partner. We hope you had as much fun watching this DVD as we had in producing it. Just take some of these ideas and adapt them to suit your own particular needs. It's all about helping children have fun and success to keep them coming back for more. Thank you for joining us.